Hello everybody, welcome to another story time with Miss Sarah. So I don't know if you can spy what's behind me here, but I have some pieces of art because today I would like to talk to you about some art. Now, where is somewhere that you could go to see some art? What's that word called? Oh, right, a museum. Have you ever been to a museum before? Maybe you've seen dinosaurs, or maybe you've seen the gemstones, or maybe you've seen paintings, because lots of times, museums will have paintings. Now, we can't go to a museum now because lots of the museums are closed right now. So since I can't take you to a museum, I thought that I would show you some paintings I have, and I also wanted to read you a book about different paintings. So this book is called No One Saw. And whenever you think about artists, everyone is an artist. Everyone sees things in different ways. So if you look at the cover here, you can see how this artist has seen the night sky. Do you see how he sees the moon? Do you see how he sees all of the stars and all the swirling colors of the night and the little city down below? So like I said, artists see things in different ways, and that comes out in their art. So while we're reading this story, I will show you these pictures up nice and close, and I want you to think about the pictures, and I want you to think about how it makes you feel, okay? So this book is called No One Saw, and it's by Bob Raczka. No one saw flowers like Georgia O'Keeffe. Do you see the flowers and their white petals? No one saw trains like Rene Magritte. Do you see that train? What is it coming out of? Is it coming out of a fireplace? Who would have thought that trains could come out of fireplaces? Isn't that interesting? No one saw mothers like Mary Cassatt. Do you see that mother? What is she doing with her daughter? Is she washing her feet and taking care of her? No one saw Sunday like George Seurat. Do you see all those people outside on a Sunday? Looks like they have umbrellas. Look at all those people out on a Sunday. Do you see the dog? Oh, I see another dog down here too. Do you see the children playing? Wow. No one saw stars like Vincent van Gogh. Now this is one of my very favorite paintings. I got to see this painting in the museum. And do you see how he sees the moon and the swirling stars and the city down below? What a beautiful, beautiful painting. No one saw people like Joan Miro. Do you see those people? I can see the face, maybe the hair. Do you see the person's feet down here? Do you see the people? No one saw squares like Pierre Mondrian. Do you see all those shapes and all those squares? What colors did he use? What do you have like squares? This kind of reminds me maybe of Legos or something like that. No one saw apples like Paul Cézanne. Have you ever eaten apples before? Would you like to eat these apples? They look delicious. No one saw music like Marc Chagall. Do you see this man playing the violin? I'd like to wear a purple jacket like that. No one saw soup like Andy Warhol. Have you ever seen soup that looks like this in the grocery store? Andy Warhol, he actually grew up in Pittsburgh. That's where a lot of us live. His museum is here too. No one saw hay like Claude Monet. See that haystack there? It's like on a farm. Looks dark. No one saw fish like Paul Klee. Wow, look at those fish. And those flowers, do you see the flowers? Very interesting. No one saw dancers like Edgar Degas. Do you see the ballerina and her slippers? She has a tutu and all her friends dancing behind her. No one saw children like Pierre Renoir. Do you see those little girls? They kind of have long hair like me. No one saw fields and farms like Grant Wood. Wow, look at that big, beautiful field. No one saw cities like Kandinsky could. Look at all those colors that he used and all those shapes that he used. Can you see some of the buildings? The birds? Artists express their own point of view, and nobody sees the world like you. See, look, you can make art just like these artists can. So I really, really like that book because it talks about how artists see different things. Like, do you remember how Vincent saw the sky? And do you remember the apples that we saw and those fish that we saw? There's all kinds of different ways to see things. And artists express how they see things in their own special way through their artwork. So I'd like to show you some art that I've collected. Miss Sarah is very, very lucky, and I've been around the world a little bit, and I've been able to go to lots of museums. I'd like to show you some pictures. So this is called The Artist's Garden. Do you see this big, beautiful garden? What kind of flowers are those? I believe those are sunflowers. Do you see the little girl here? And maybe behind her are some of her family that are walking down the steps. Now, Monet paints very interesting because when you look at the painting very close, it kind of looks like he uses lots of little dots, right? But then when you put it far away, you can see the leaves and the flowers. That's a very interesting way how he paints, isn't it? Here is another painting by Monet. And this is called The Japanese Bridge. So do you see the bridge over top of the pond? And when I hold it back here, you can see the bridge, you can see the water lilies, you can see the flowers, but now I'm going to show it to you really, really close. And it kind of looks like a bunch of little tiny dots, right? But then whenever I show you far away, now you can see the flowers, and now you can see the lilies, and now you can see the pond. Isn't that a very interesting way how he paints? I have another picture, and this is also by Van Gogh, the same guy who did the Starry Night that I showed you. And these are called irises. Irises are special flowers that are blue. You might see them in a few weeks here in the springtime. And look at these beautiful flowers. Do you think that they're in a vase? I see the vase. Beautiful, beautiful blue irises. And then here is another picture by the same artist, by Van Gogh. And this is called A Wheat Field. So do you see the green long grass or the long wheat? Do you see the blue clouds above? And let me again show it to you really close. When you look at it really close, it kind of looks like just a bunch of little teeny tiny lines and lots of colors. But then when I show you it farther away, you can see the grass and you can see the plants and you can see the clouds. Isn't that an interesting way to paint? I have something else to show you. This is called a sea battle. Wow. Look at the lines, the colors, the shapes. What do you see when you look at this? How does it make you feel? It makes me wonder. This is by Kandinsky. He's the same guy that did the cities in the book that I showed you. So it's always good to look at art and think about how it makes you feel, right? And make you think about what you can make, right? Because like the book said, no one sees things like you do. And your art is just as special, right? So you can think about the different things that you can use to make art, right? You can use paint. If you don't have paint, you can sculpt with Play-Doh. If you don't have that, you can just use simple crayons and paper, right? You can use markers. You could even take a camera and take pictures because photography is artwork as well. So I'd like to challenge you guys to try to make your own artwork and think about how those artists saw different things, and maybe think about something that you want to see, that you want to show people, okay? So I'd like to, like I said, I'd like you to try to make some art all by yourself in your own special way. Okay, everybody? I wish you all very well. I hope you liked this story and you liked all the art that I showed you. I'll see you around.